What's up, everybody? My name's Big Dane, otherwise known as Crypto Great Dane Online, and this is video number 2, which is how to buy and sell physical Bitcoin. What is it? How it works? If you don't know what I'm talking about right now, you should go back and watch video number 1. What is physical Bitcoin? So, if you already did that and you're ready to roll, let's get started. So, physical Bitcoin is going to be any physical, tangible object that holds Bitcoin on it. So an example of that right here would be the Polymerbit note, right? This is a note, actually holds Bitcoin on it, okay? I have this Bitcoin attack book here. This Bitcoin attack book actually holds Bitcoin inside. This is the Hodl Club book, holds the Bitcoin right there underneath the hologram. But for the main part of this video, we're talking about coins, right? That's really the heart of physical Bitcoin, is the coin industry, right? Like this Leilana right here, okay? Before we get too far in, I want to stop and talk about the encyclopedia, all right? This is the Encyclopedia of Physical Bitcoin. This is the Bible of physical Bitcoin. This is all the physical Bitcoins from 2011 to 2015. We referenced it several times today, so we want to give them their credit. This is a great object to have if you're just getting started, or even if you've been around a long time. Lets you know, kind of gives your collecting direction, and lets you know the type of coins you should be collecting. So you can get this book on Amazon, eBay. You can also go to the author's webpage. That's coinfirm.org. And you can get the book there. Now, even these books are collectible. They are, depending on which one you get, anywhere from $80 to $300 and on up for rare copies. So I highly recommend you get this book. Okay, so back to physical Bitcoin. So we have two main categories. We have traditional physical Bitcoin, and that's going to be Leilana, right? Like this Leilana coin here, or any object really that holds Bitcoin. And then we have non-traditional physical Bitcoin. Now, the OGs may argue with me and say that that these coins don't even classify as physical Bitcoin, but I do think they have a place. They are collectible in their own right. As long as they have a mintage number, a date, something that makes them rare, you know, and highly collectible, then they should be included as well. So this is non-traditional physical Bitcoin. This is going to be, you know, your Liberty coin, your Kryptonic, Anonymous Mint, Shibi Mint, and the Bitcoin Penny. Don't forget about them, okay? So those are all non-traditional physical Bitcoins, and we'll be doing a video about them in the future. For today, we're just kind of focused on physical Bitcoin, traditional physical Bitcoin, that is. So what's the first thing we do? Well, so you want to collect physical Bitcoin. You basically should have an idea of what you're looking to collect. So the first thing you want to do is kind of get a game plan about what you want to collect. You know, what's the brand? You want a Leilana? You want a Cassatius coin? You want a BTCC? You need to first get a background for those coins. You know, who made the coin? What's the history of it? How long has it been around? Does it have a website? Is the website still running? Are they out of business? Are they still making coins? So get all that information together, because you really need to have a good understanding of your coin you want to get, and the coin maker who made it and where they're at in their business, okay? So after you get that going, the next thing you want to know is narrow it down to the coin. So which coin do you want to collect? You know, you want a Leilana, you know you want a Leilana. So you get your coin, you do the investigating on that coin now. What's the denomination? What's it made out of? How big is it? How rare is it? You get all those basic facts down, okay? We're going to look at a Leilana 0.1 brass coin here. Okay, that's this one here on the screen. So the next thing we're going to look at is funding. Okay, and we'll stop here for a minute because there's quite a bit that we can talk about this. So there's basically 4 types of coins out there. The first type of coin and coin funding is going to be manufacturer funded coin. Now what that means is the coin maker made the coin, got the address, got the private key, and put it underneath the hologram. Okay, and then sent the Bitcoin to the coin. So the Bitcoin is actually on this coin when it gets shipped out to you. Now the slight variation is that maybe the manufacturer didn't actually fund it, but he had you fund it before he sent it to you. Either way, it's funded before it leaves the manufacturer's hands. That's a manufacturer funded coin. And that's probably going to be the most sought after coin out there. That's the kind of the gold standard. All right. Now the next type of coin, which is like this one I have on the screen here, is a buyer funded coin. Okay. And what does that mean? That means the coin maker made the coin, got the address for the coin, got the private keys, he put them under the hologram, but he never sent any Bitcoin to the coin. He sent it out just like that. Now, a buyer funded coin could be funded. It was just funded by maybe that first owner. So a buyer funded coin may or may not have Bitcoin on it. And then we can talk about how to look that up here in a little bit. The next type of coin is going to be a do-it-yourself coin. Okay, a do-it-yourself coin is going to be the manufacturer, the coin maker made the coin, but he never got an address, he never got any private keys for it. He left the coin blank on the back, and he's going to send you the hologram. Okay, so that's what this is here. This is a finite by design. This is a do-it-yourself coin, no Bitcoin on it, but could be. Now the majority of these coins are left just like this with the hologram off. I guess you could fund it yourself and attach the hologram. However, most buyers the buyer now has to trust you that you funded the coin right. So we don't see a lot of people actually funding these do-it-yourself coins. They are sold and collected just like this with the hologram off. Okay, so then the last type of coin is going to be a peeled coin. So what's a peeled coin? A peeled coin is going to be a coin that had Bitcoin on it at some point, and then for whatever reason somebody along the way peeled that hologram, swiped the Bitcoin off, and now we have a coin that is just a coin. Nothing, there's no Bitcoin to it. However, there's 2 types of peeled coins that I want to talk about. So we have a coin with the hologram still attached, right? And then we have a coin with we have a clean back coin, a coin with no hologram on it at all. So I give more credit, more value to a coin if it still has the hologram attached. If it's a clean backed coin, I definitely knock off a little bit of value to it. So those are basically the 4 types of different coins you're going to encounter out there. Okay, so the next thing is how these passwords are held. So when we talk about the private keys, all right, we know that the private keys are put underneath the hologram. But if you look in this box right here, you can see what we call the first bits. Okay, and these first bits are going to represent the first 7 or 8 letters and numbers of the actual full address. So that's what you use to check your value and see if there's anything on there. So you would go to Bitcoin Wallet Explorer. You would type in the first bits here, and it would come up as, yes, this coin does indeed have 0.5 Bitcoin on it. It'll also give you the day it was sended, how many transactions it took to get it to that level. If it was swiped, it'll tell you it was swiped. It's also possible there's no Bitcoin on it at all. So it's always important to check your keys to make sure that it is on there. So the Bitcoin can be held, like in this case, under a hologram. It could be held via a steel casing, like in a Kia Lara, but the private keys are stored within that coin somehow. So once the hologram is pulled, and I have a picture of it here, you can kind of see, this isn't the greatest picture, but as you pull that hologram off, this hologram becomes honeycombed. It forms like a honeycomb type shape, and cannot be placed back on the coin. So once it's peeled, you know, there's no putting it back there. Okay. So, and I always use this. I brought this out here. This is a jeweler's loop, and I use this to look at the back of all my holograms to look for any kind of imperfections in the hologram, needle points or peeled up edges, anything that looks out of the ordinary. I look pretty closely at the holograms. If you have that opportunity, sometimes you order them off eBay and you can't, you know, you don't have a chance to look at them ahead of time. Okay, so those are the first bits. All right, so let's talk about rarity here. All right, rarity is the next kind of thing that's pretty important when it comes to these coins, and we're going to be looking at this. We're going to be looking at this Leilana here, if I can find it. Okay. So, in the case of this coin, they made 10,000, all right? Now, when we say there's variations to these coins, with the case of the Leilana, they chose to make the variation in the first bits. So the first bits on this coin here is green. And that is the main type of coin of these that was created. There was 9,500 of these coins made with the green first bits, okay? And those were all non-funded. Those were all buyer-funded, okay? The next thing here is buyer-funded black. And that's going to be a coin that was sent out buyer-funded, but with the black first bits. And that happens to be the rarest of all the combinations. There's only 100 of those. So those are going to be more rare and get a higher value in price, okay? And then black, straight black, not buyer funded, means that they came out funded. So those were going to be the most expensive because they have a base price of 0.1 Bitcoin already on them. But just for collectability, anytime the lowest of the rarity is going to be the most value, okay? So that's with this one, that's with the Leilana, but variations could be anything really, and they could be wording on the coin, actual differences in the coin. So you need to know what those variations are for whatever brand of coin you're looking at, because those variations make it more valuable. And I have to tell you, I mean, I bought coins on eBay before, or, you know, even I found one at the pawn shop one time, was a black first bits, as the same cost as a green first bits. So just knowing that, I was able to purchase the black one because it was more rare, you know, I snatched that one up for the same cost. So not everybody knows this information. So that's why it's important to do your research ahead of time, okay? So the next thing we want to talk about is slabbed. Slabbing means that, you know, we're sending these off to a coin company to put it in the plastic slab. Now there are four companies that do slabbing of coins. There are PCGS, NGC, Annex, and ICG. All right. Now NGC doesn't grade physical Bitcoin. PCGS, which is the number one of those, graded Bitcoin in the past, didn't do it for the longest time, and only recently in the last 6 months decided to start doing it again for Cassatius and Leilana. This is an Annex grading. They still do it, and ICG is the one that everybody uses because it is the most seamless and streamlined to get your coins in and get them back relatively quickly. So I do give a value increase if they come slabbed. Important note, just because they are in a holder doesn't necessarily mean that they are guaranteed to be physical Bitcoin. This is relatively a new space, and these guys are not the experts on physical Bitcoin. So I have seen fake coins in slabs before. So take it with a grain of salt. Most likely it's a real coin, but it's not the gold standard. Okay, and I brought this one out here. You can see in the old days they put this at the top here, authenticated. So they were authenticating that this is the real deal coin here. But you can see in this photo, if I have it, in this photo they've added, and this is a later slab. This crypto-themed physical token is evaluated for condition and wear only. Actual cryptocurrency value is neither confirmed nor guaranteed. So obviously they ran into some problems and now put this disclaimer at the top. So that's slabbing of coins. Now I do give value to slabbing. It saves you work, they look nice, and gets your coin registered. Okay, so holograms. So holograms can be peeled, they can be intact. We're looking for holes, anything out of the ordinary. This is a laser etched edge of a Leilana coin. They were doing this, he did this on very few coins. This is a laser etching. You can see along the edge, seals down the hologram. It's a rarity to find a laser etched coin from Leilana, but increased value. All right, so it's important to know what the variations were for whatever your coin is, so you can place a good value on that coin. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is you're buying a coin. Let's say it's a buyer funded coin. So a buyer funded coin means that there's no Bitcoin on there. The first thing I ask when we're talking about a buyer funded coin, especially if you're going on eBay or something, is do they have the address? Okay, it is imperative that if you're buying a buyer funded Leilana coin or any buyer funded coin, that you have the full address. Okay, without the full address, it's like a mint Corvette without the engine. It ceases to function with its true, what it's supposed to do. Okay, so you must make sure that they have the address. If the seller says, I don't have the address, you need to knock quite a bit of value off of that coin, because you can no longer load it and it cannot be used for anything without that address. And Leilana doesn't provide addresses at this time. So that's super important. I wanted to touch on that. Make sure you find that address, okay? Add-ons. So what are some other things that make the coins more valuable? Well, what did it come with? Does it have its paperwork? Does it have a box, a COA, the certificate of authenticity? All of these things together give your coin extra value. And this is just a picture of a coin with the paperwork there with it. Very important that if you have paperwork or any kind of history with that coin, you keep it together, because you want to be able to increase the value of your coin, and having the box and the COA and everything that goes with it is definitely going to give it more value. Okay. Compromised. So I'm going to touch on this briefly here. So it's very important that you realize when you're buying physical Bitcoin that you must trust your coin maker, right? There has been a couple times in the past where we've had some scams that have gone on, or a coin maker didn't protect their private keys, so they get out and your coin gets swiped. There's an instance here with the Titan coins. There's one on the screen there. A section of their coins was done with 2FA authenticity, which required their website to swipe the coins, and then their website went down and people are unable to get their Bitcoin off. So it's important to know your coin maker, that they have some trust and a good track record with no issues. And because you assume all the risk. You assume all the risk when you buy physical Bitcoin, that your coin maker is doing everything in their power to keep your private keys safe. And in general, I don't trust anybody with it as a middleman between me and my private keys. But with physical Bitcoin, if they have a good track record, you know, we buy the physical Bitcoin. Okay. Provenance. Well, let's talk about condition first. I mean, condition in normal coin collecting is a big deal, right? They give way higher payment and value to an MS-70 versus like an MS-62. For physical Bitcoin, because they are so rare at this point, we basically take what you can find. So if they're slab, then they'll already have a grade on them. But generally get a overall look of your coin. If it looks like someone's been chewing on it, definitely going to knock value off for that. You know, we're trying to find the best coins we can, but definitely give a look to condition. Not the most important thing at this level right now. Okay, provenance. All right, so the story of the coin. That's another thing I ask people when I first buy a coin is, what's the story of this coin? You know, where did it come from? You know, who owned it? You know, and if they can tell me, hey, this was owned by a coin maker and it was in his private collection, I give more value to that, and I keep a record of it. I keep a chain of custody with my coins, so I can pass that down to the next buyer to say, hey, this is who owned it. I owned it next, and I signed it, and then I give them the sheet, and they sign it after that. And I mean, physical Bitcoin's only been around for, you know, 10 years now, but when we're talking it's been around for 50 years, these chain of custodies and these records are going to be highly valuable and increase the value of your coin. So make sure you are doing that, you know, keeping a track of what kind of coins you got and where they came from. Okay, so let's just talk here before we wrap up. This brass 0.1 Leilani coin. I want to just tell you two things about it. So let's assume this coin right here, and I'll pull it one up for you. Let's assume this coin right here had terrible condition. Looks like someone's been chewing on it. There's no hologram on the back, no story. We don't know anything about it. Just the blank coin. What's that coin worth? Well, maybe about $150, you know. maybe a little more, but let's say $100, $150. This same coin now, let's call it a buyer-funded black coin, one of those 100 coins, and it's funded. The first owner funded it. So now we have an excellent condition brass 0.1 funded with 0.1 Bitcoin, hologram intact with a buyer-funded black first bits on there, and provenance. It came with a certificate of authenticity and came out of Smoothie's private collection. A coin like this is going to sell for $4,000 to $5,000 maybe, you know, taking that Bitcoin price and building from there. And my point is that you can have two identical coins, but knowing the facts, the figures, the rarity, the funding, everything about it could give it vastly different values. So that's the purpose of this video, to inform you so that you can spot the jewels out there online and snatch them up, hopefully before somebody else does. Okay? If you wanted a more in-depth look at these Leilana coins, we're going to go through Leilana in depth, every coin they've ever made. We're going to do a whole video on Leilana, as well as Cassatius, BTCC, Ravenbit, non-traditional physical Bitcoin. We got some other videos we're going to do, even some Bitcoin art collectibles. We are going to do it all. So those are all to come. All right. Let's do some quick shout outs. All right. We got today, I want to thank the founding fathers, Smoothie and Mike Caldwell, Leilana and Cassatius, right? The guys that started it all 10 years ago. Okay. I want to thank Michael Bruce. Michael Bruce is the creator of that physical Bitcoin you see on all the channels. Every time they talk about Bitcoin, they show that coin with that same pattern. We all know it. That was created by Michael Bruce, and they stole that coin from him. So every time you see it, you give a salute to Michael Bruce, okay? I'd like to say shout out to Max at Kialara, Chris at Bitcoin Penny, Two Stout, Hookups, Crypto Kid, Precious Metal, Jupiter from Cardsmiths, and we got a Cardsmiths currency video coming out next too. That's going to be a big one. Leave me a comment. We'll see if we can answer it in the next video. I appreciate everybody who's watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you for video number 3. Thanks.